Hi friends, welcome to my channel Power Plant Act. Myself K. Padmakar once again inviting you to my new topic coal and combustion chemistry. This topic is very important for the persons those who are engaged in power plant operation and maintenance. Coal is the main fuel that contributes for steam generation in boiler and it contributes for power generation of the cycle. So today we will discuss following topics. That is, number one is ranking of coal. Number two, analysis of coal and significance of constituents. Number three, combustion chemistry. Under this, theoretical air or stoichiometric air formula evaluation and excess air with given oxygen and actual air supply needed. Okay, these are the we will discuss the following topics. Okay, as per gross calorific value of coal, the coal is ranked into 7 groups. They are grades and the gross calorific value in kilocalorie per kg. Grade A is more than 6200 and grade B is in between 5600 to 6200 and grade C is 5000 to 5600 and grade D is 4200 to 5000 and grade E is in between 3800 to 4200 and grade F is in between 2600 to 3800 and grade G is 1800 to 2600. So these are the grade of coal used in for power generation. Grade A is above 6200 kilocalorie per kg and grade B is in between 5600 to 6200 and grade C is in between 5000 to 5600 and grade D is in between 4200 to 5000 and grade E is in between 3800 to 4200 and grade F is in between 2600 to 3800 and grade G is in between 1800 to 2600. These are the grade of coal used in a power plant. Okay, on the basis of formation of coal, the coal is divided into coal. On the basis of formation of coal, coal is it is divided into 3 categories. Number one is anthracite and second is bituminous and number 3 is lignite. What is the characteristic of these coals? Let us see. The anthracite coal contains, it is hard coal and it contains less moisture and it contains more carbon and it contains less volatile matter. It contains less volatile matter. On the other hand, this lignite coal contains, it is a soft coal and it is contains more moisture and it contains less carbon content and it contains more volatile matter. this is the characteristic of lignite and this is the characteristic of anthracite. It is the oldest coal, it is, and it is the youngest coal. In the formation of coal, this is the oldest and it is the youngest, and the characteristic is like this. And this bituminous is in between these two coals. That is, what is the characteristics of bituminous is in between anthracite and lignite. Then analysis of coal. The coal can be, an analysis of coal will be taken in two methods. Number one is proximate and second is ultimate analysis. What is proximate and what is ultimate analysis? Proximate analysis will be carried out for finding the elements in the coal which we can easily, that means need not require to get more efforts are not required for finding this proximate analysis, whereas for ultimate analysis we have to find out so many components in ultimate analysis. So these are the difference between proximate analysis and ultimate analysis. In plants, generally proximate analysis will be taken in plants, so that easily and very quickly this analysis can be carried out. So what are the elements that is to be analyzed in proximate analysis is moisture, second is volatile matter, and third one is fixed carbon, and number 4 is ash. Okay. What is the significance of these elements? Let us discuss. Number 1 is our moisture content. This moisture content present in coal is only the loss of heat. Why? Because the moisture content in coal, if you heat the coal, then what happens? Whatever the content of moisture is, first it is going to be evaporated, and evaporated vapor is going to be superheated. So whatever the your heat is generating from coal is wasted towards the presence of this moisture content. So more moisture gives more heat loss to coal. Then second is volatile matter. What is the volatile matter? Volatile matter is nothing but the hydrocarbons present in coal is volatile matter. That is your methane, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, all these presence in volatile matter comes under volatile matter. So what is the significance of this volatile matter? Volatile matter gives the ignition of coal, how much that can be calculated with the presence of this volatile matter. Then third one is your fixed carbon. This fixed carbon gives the heating value of coal. So more fixed carbon, more heating value. So this can be calculated on the basis of fixed carbon, how much heat is there in coal, that can be calculated. Then ash, number 4 is ash. Ash is nothing but it is a burden for transportation, but there is no use. Apart from that, the problem is that if coal is going to be heated more, then this ash gets fused and clinker formation will take place. So these are the importance of constituents of this proximate analysis. Then ultimate analysis. In ultimate analysis, the following elements we are going to be calculated. This is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, moisture, ash, and nitrogen. These are the components we are calculating in the ultimate analysis. This is to be calculated, and the what is the significance of this thing? It is in whatever the you are in the flue gas. There is a carbon dioxide is there, then other components are present in the flue gas. So on the basis of this ultimate analysis, this can be estimated the quantity of flue gas generated, and on the design point of view, what is the size of duct that is to be provided is calculated on the basis of this ultimate analysis. Then we will find out what is this theoretical air. Theoretical air. Okay. What is theoretical air? This is the minimum quantity of air that contains the oxygen which needs for combustion of coal. This is the definition of theoretical air. That is minimum oxygen needed for taking combustion of for complete combustion of coal is this theoretical air. So actually in fuel, what are the constituents are present is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and sulfur. These four main constituent present in coal are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and sulfur. So we will see how the combustion chemistry is going to be takes place with these elements. When carbon comes in contact with oxygen, this forms carbon dioxide. Same thing when hydrogen comes in contact with oxygen, this becomes 2H2O. 2H2 plus O2 becomes 2H2O. Okay. Then when sulfur is come in contact with oxygen, this becomes sulfur dioxide. So there is three chemical analysis will be three chemistry will be taken. Carbon is formed into carbon dioxide by coming in contact with oxygen, and when hydrogen comes in contact with oxygen, this becomes 2H2O. When sulfur comes in oxygen, this becomes sulfur dioxide. So what is a theoretical air mean? The air required for combustion of these elements. That means for converting carbon to carbon dioxide, how much amount of oxygen is needed. For converting hydrogen to H2O, how much quantity of oxygen needed, and for converting sulfur to sulfur dioxide, how much amount of oxygen is needed is to be calculated. That is to be calculated. Okay. So we know that the molecular weight of carbon is 12 and oxygen is 16 and sulfur is 32 and hydrogen is 1. These are the molecular weight of elements. Okay. Let us find the this number 1. When carbon comes in contact with oxygen, this becomes CO2. What is the molecular weight of carbon? This becomes 12 and oxygen is 16. 2 into 16. This becomes carbon dioxide forms 12 plus 2 into 16. Okay. Then 12 plus 32, it becomes 44. So by dividing this, 1 plus 32 by 12 gives 44 by 12. 1 plus by dividing by 4, 8 third equal to 44 by 12. What it means? When 1 kg of carbon is mixed with 8 third quantity of oxygen, then 44 by 12 . 11 by third quantity of CO2 is going to be formed. So just you keep it that how much quantity of oxygen is needed for this thing, 8/3 carbon is needed, 8/3 quantity of carbon is needed for converting to CO2. Okay. Then for the second, 2H2 plus O2, 2H2 plus O2 becomes 2H2O. 2 into 2. Hydrogen, the molecular weight is 1. So H2 means 2 into 2 plus 32. Oxygen is 16. So 32. This become 2 into 2 plus 16. Okay. So by dividing by 4, this becomes 1 plus 32 by 4, 36 by 4. 1 plus 8 becomes 9. So what happens? 1 kg of hydrogen when mixed with 8 kg of oxygen, this becomes 9 kg of H2O. Okay. So just remember it. This gives 8 hydrogen. You take it 2. Okay. Then find out the third one. S plus O2 becomes SO2. This is a 32 plus 32 is equal to 64. 32 means sulfur is 32 and oxygen is 16. This is O2 32 plus SO2 64. So 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So what it is, 1 kg of sulfur comes in contact, when 1 kg of sulfur is in contact with 1 kg of oxygen, then 2 kg of sulfur dioxide is going to be formed. So 1 kg sulfur. This you can take thing. Apart from that, in ultimate analysis, there is oxygen also present in ultimate analysis. So this oxygen, here what this oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur. Oxygen also remains in this. So this oxygen, what happens? Already oxygen present in coal. Apart from that, you are supplying oxygen. So this oxygen is utilized for combustion also. This oxygen for it used for CO2 and this used for sulfur dioxide and this used for hydrogen also. Apart from that, whatever you are externally you are supplying whatever the oxygen. Apart from that, this is also using. So what happens? You have to deduct this oxygen present in the coal. Okay. So after that, what happens in air? There is a 23% oxygen is present in the air. Okay, and nitrogen is present 77%. Nitrogen is present in air. So while you are calculating the air, so how much quantity of air is required? So that you have to calculate it. How much? 100 divided by 23% is air is there. So this is 4.35, approximately 4.35 quantity of air is needed. That means every 4.35 quantity of air, there is 1 kg of oxygen is present. Every 4.35 kg of air, 1 kg of oxygen present in the air. So for calculating the total this theoretical air, what to do? We have to add all these things. All these things we have to add minus O2. We are going to deduct this oxygen. So how the formula is now going to be seen. So this is the total air required is theoretical theoretical air is equal to 4.35 into 8 third carbon plus 8 hydrogen plus 1s, just close the this bracket, minus O2. Whatever the oxygen present in the coal, that is to be deducted. So this is the formula. So theoretical air formula is 4.35 into 8 third carbon plus 8H plus S minus O2. With this formula, you can able to calculate suppose in the ultimate analysis, they are giving carbon is something, suppose it was given carbon is something 45% and hydrogen is 3% and sulfur is 0.5% and oxygen is something 6% is there in the ultimate analysis of coal. Then you can able to find out the how much quantity of theoretical air by this formula. Okay. Then we will find out the excess air. What is the excess air? What is excess air? Actually, in combustion, what happens? You are providing theoretical air to combust to take combustion of coal. You are providing theoretical air, but practically what happens? Each constituent of coal. Of the constituents such as carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and sulfur, they are not going to mix with the theoretical air. It needs some more extra air is needed to ensure the complete combustion of coal. So some excess air is to be provided. This is called excess air. Okay. So to get the formula of this excess air, actually what happens in power plants, there is one oxygen meter is provided, oxygen analyzer, what they call is oxygen analyzer. Oxygen analyzer is provided in between economizer and air preheater duct. So what is the use of this oxygen analyzer? It shows something 5%, 6% like that. Then some digital value is just showing on the oxygen analyzer. What it indicates, suppose there is a 5% is there, that you are providing extra 5% of oxygen for combustion of this coal. So this is the thing. So what is the formula for this excess air? Formula for finding the excess air is O2 percentage divided by 21 minus O2 percentage. This is the formula for excess air. Suppose there is a 5% oxygen in the oxygen analysis, there is a 5% is there. So how you are going to calculate the excess air? Suppose this is 5% is there, divided by 21 minus 5. This gives 5 divided by 16 into 100. 5 divided by 16 gives 31.31 into 100. It gives 31.25%. That means you are providing 31.25% excess air for taking combustion of complete combustion of coal. So this is the way how you are going to calculate the excess air for this. So actually there is a standard values are there for finding standard values for excess air for different that mean fuels. They are just I will give you for your information. For Stoker fired boiler, for stalker-fied, the excess air is, this is the type and this is the excess air. It needs 25 to 35% stalker-fied. For wood firing, you need 25% to 50% excess air is needed. And number 3 is coal fired. You need 10% to 40%. This coal fired comes under AFBC, CFBC, PFBC, whatever you are using. This the excess air is in between 10 to 40%. Okay. Then for gas fired, the excess air is 5% to 10%. In gas fired, the excess air is very less is needed. For oil fired, the excess air is 10% to 20%. These are the excess air needed for different types of fuels, such as stalker fired, it needs 25 to 35%, wood firing 25 to 50%, for coal fired 10 to 40%, for gas fired 5 to 10%, and for oil firing it needs 10 to 20%. So now we will find the actual. So what is the advantage and disadvantage of this excess air? Suppose there is a standard is there for excess air. Suppose you need for coal fired boiler is something 20% excess air is needed for coal firing. Okay, if you instead of that if you provide 10% extra, that means if you provide 30%, then every 10% excess air, there is a 3% fuel is going to it is going to be increased. That consumption is going to be increased. 3% coal consumption is going to be increased. So you have to find out how much quantity of excess air needed. That much of excess air only you have to provide it. If you provide more than the excess air of this thing, then there is a loss of fuel and ultimately the efficiency loss will take place. And the advantage of this O2, this excess air is that combustion of this is perfect, and you will get a good quality of combustion, and efficiency of the boiler is also optimized by providing this excess air. But too much excess air is waste of your fuel. Okay. Then we will find out finally actual air supply. Actual air supply is equal to theoretical air plus percentage of excess air with theoretical air. Mean theoretical air plus theoretical air's percentage of excess air. This much of out of that, this much of 20% excess air is to be provided in the theoretical air. So this is what happens. This theoretical air. 1 minute. Actual air supply is equal to theoretical air plus percentage of excess air with theoretical air. So this theoretical air is common. Into 1 plus excess air percentage. Okay, this is equal to theoretical air into 1 plus excess air by 100. This is the final formula of theoretical air. So suppose you are providing excess air of 20%. Okay, 20% mean how much? This gives, suppose the theoretical air is something, it comes under 9 kg of air per kg of coal is your theoretical air, suppose. Okay, this is theoretical air, and you are providing excess air is something 30% excess air you are providing. So how much actual air supply is equal to 9 into 1 plus this is 30 by 100. So 9 into 1.3. Okay, so how much it is? This is 11.7 kg air per kg of coal. So in this way you can able to find out the actual air supply, that is total air, how much quantity is needed, that can be calculated. So this is the system how we are going to calculate this excess air, theoretical air, that means your stoichiometric air or theoretical air, and your excess air and actual air supply of the coal. So this is very useful for finding the actual air supply for taking combustion in coal. So this is very good topic. So I think I have explained up to my satisfaction. If you like this video, please share and like my video, and don't forget to take this thing, this is Power Plant Act is my this thing. Okay, thank you, and thank you very much.